Welcome to Oyate Today. Oyate in Lakota means people. Brought to you by Native Sun News Today. Hi, welcome to Oyate Today. I'm your host, Richie Richards. Oyate Today is produced by Tim and Jackie Gallego. Tim is an enrolled member of the Oglala Sioux tribe. Our guest tonight is Miss Julie Jensen, president of the Visit Rapid City here in Rapid City. Thank you so much for being here, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
This is going to be a good conversation, and I'm excited to kind of get your work out there into our community. So thank you.
You bet. We're thrilled to be here.
Good deal, good deal. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself, ma'am?
Well, I'm president and CEO of Visit Rapid City. And Visit Rapid City became its own organization about 2 years ago. But prior to that, we were a division of the Rapid City Chamber of Commerce. And for 40 years, the Convention and Visitors Bureau was a bureau of a division of the chamber. And I worked at the chamber in the late 80s, early 90s for 14 years. And then I took a little break and raised my family.
Nice.
And then I came back, and we are now officially Visit Rapid City, and we are just thrilled to be a part of this wonderful community.
Sure. And so what is the mission of Visit Rapid City then? What is the goals that you've set for yourself and your organization?
Well, our goals are basically to make sure that we invite as many people as possible to visit Rapid City and to stay as long as possible, and that when they're here, to make sure that they have a great experience. So it's sort of three-pronged. We need to get them here, we need to make sure they stay long enough so they can see all there is to see and do, and then to make sure when they go home, they spread the good word about all the great things there are to see and do in Rapid City and the Black Hills.
And so what are some of those highlights then? Why are people coming to Rapid City, and why should they come to Rapid City then?
Well, first of all, it's hard to ignore the fact that we're surrounded by 5 national parks. The iconic Mount Rushmore, of course, the Badlands National Park, Wind and Jewel Cave. We now have the Minutemen Missile Site.
Oh, yeah.
And Devil's Tower is very close. Even though it's in Wyoming, we still market it. So that is kind of the things that we use to get their attention. But once we get their attention, then we get to talk about Crazy Horse Memorial, Custer State Park, and just within Rapid City alone, the City of Presidents, Art Alley, all the beautiful things there are to see and do right here in Rapid City.
And so what role does Native American culture play in some of this then?
Oh, such a big role. I can't stress how important it is, especially to international visitors, to hear and learn more about the Native American culture. And so we just get tons of opportunities to spread the good word. And we have worked on bringing events that include Native American people. We have, of course, Prairie Edge right here that does a great job of telling the story and sharing the art that the Northern Plains Native Americans have and do. So Native American culture is very important to our growth.
And there's evidence of that based on who your chairman is. You have a excellent chairman, Native American gentleman from, I believe it's Crow Creek?
Yes.
In Whitney Raincounter.
Whitney Raincounter is our first ever Native American chairman of the board. And we got Whitney involved about 3 or 4 years ago, and he has been such a great board member. And he worked his way up to being chairman of the board, and we just couldn't be more thrilled to have his knowledge and his love of his people and bridging any kind of cultural bridges that need to be worked on. He has been just a great addition to our board.
He is a great ambassador, not only for the Native American community, but Rapid City in general. Just a great guy doing great things.
He absolutely is. His program working with the young people is just so valuable. And then the Rural American Initiatives does some great things for many Native Americans. So yeah, he's one of our heroes.
So has the Visit Rapid City, have they gone through any type of cultural training then to kind of help and assist in their mission of this inclusion area, including the Native American culture in this?
Well, I don't think that there has been an official program for our board of directors, but I think it's a good idea. I do know that many of our board members go through the Leadership Rapid City program.
Sure.
And within that program, there are some skills and some informational sessions based on the Native American history. So I think that we could do a better job of that because, I mean, 20% of the population of Rapid City is Native American. So we need to really pay attention to that and make sure that our board members understand just how important that is, especially to the visitor industry.
Yes, and so there's a lot of positive things happening in our community.
Yes.
I think that sometimes we become stigmatized on one negative incident or a negative incident that just gets exploded or exaggerated or, you know, really made into something that's much larger than what actually took place. And so Visit Rapid City is a part of that mission of really bringing positivity and working together across the board with different cultures and different areas.
You know, Richie, we really have made some great strides. We had an incident about 4 years ago at the Civic Center that caused some real concern about how we treat our Native American visitors. And so we sat down with the LNI Board of Directors and says, what can we do? And the Black Hills Powwow Board of Directors and says, what can we do to be more understanding and to make sure that our local people understand the importance of the Native American visitors and residents. And so LNI is a prime example, Lakota Nation Invitational, of how we turned that event from just an event that was coming to town. In fact, there are some of the board members say they had to sneak into town and sneak out of town. That is not the way it is anymore. We do a red carpet welcome. We escort those buses of students and players from the interstate. We escort them to the Civic Center with, you know, police escorts, and then we do the red carpet welcome where the business community gives them high fives as they walk down a red carpet. And then we do a big pasta feed for them. They now understand that we appreciate them and we appreciate the culture.
Sure. Have you gotten any feedback then directly from the players or students or the coaches or the teams as far as?
Well, certainly the board of directors has let us know. And many of the board of directors are their coaches or their athletic directors from their individual schools. And I'll tell you that Prairie Edge does a reception for them prior to the tournament, and we just get to hear these wonderful words of thanks, and we appreciate that so much that they do appreciate our efforts.
And so what role does an event like LNI take place? I mean, what role does that play in our community then, other than an economic boost or an economic value to the area?
I mean, we always have to, of course, talk about the economic boost. That's what Visit Rapid City is here to do, is to bring visitors to town. And what that does is it brings money to town. And it's a huge, well, the visitor industry is the #1 industry in Rapid City.
Sure.
But more importantly, it is that cultural building of bridges. I think when you've got an LNI tournament or the Black Hills Powwow, we are really going to work hard to make, when the new arena is built,
yes,
to make the Black Hills Powwow #1 in 21.
Sure.
The Civic Center, the new arena, is hopefully going to be built and have grand opening in the fall of 2021. So our goal has been, working with Stephen Yellowhawk and with Karen Mortimer from MOA and with Whitney, we are going to try to build every year to make that powwow, and hopefully it'll be #1 by 21.
Which would take over the place of Gathering of Nations down in Albuquerque, the Denver March Powwow.
Exactly.
And I think currently Rapid City, or the Black Hills Powwow, is third.
#3.
So your goal would be to help make it the #1 powwow in the
Exactly.
United
So
States.
watch out, Albuquerque and Denver, because we're coming after you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so when you talk about these different collaborations with LNI or the Black Hills Powwow and Stephen Yellowhawk, what do they bring to the table then, other than their needs, or what do they bring actually to the table when it comes to Visit Rapid City and meeting and collaborating with them?
They just bring such knowledge of how to go about things, and we don't always necessarily say the right words. We all need to learn better,
Yes.
both sides.
Yes.
Or every human being can learn how to use better words and to have better attitudes. Stephen and Whitney have just taught us so much about the beauty of the Native American culture and how let's stress the positive. Let's forget the negative and let's stress the positive, and let's keep that momentum going. And that's what they have brought to the table, as well as just the fact is these are huge events in our city.
They are. Julie, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll learn a little bit more about Visit Rapid City and the great work you all are doing. So we'll be back after a short break.
Native Son News has been voted the best weekly newspaper in its class for 2015 by the South Dakota and North Dakota Newspaper Associations. You can find a copy of the Native Son News at many businesses and vending machines in Rapid City and the surrounding area, and on all 9 reservations. We publish every Wednesday, so advertisers and subscribers can reach our diverse readership by calling 605-721-1266. The Native Son News covers the other side of the story.
You can't predict life's ups and downs. You just give it all you've got to stay on top. But it's easier with a partner like Security First Bank. Since 1898, we've been riding with you through the country's biggest ups and downs. And this is where we'll stay. Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on. Member FDIC.
I want some more.
What's he doing?
But he can't.
Look at him. It's just not done.
Please, sir, I want some more.
More? More?
More? Please, sir.
He has asked for more!
Thank you.
What?
Well, he did say please. Sir.
Yes, he did. And thank you.
Yeah, and thank you.
He's a wonderful boy. A delightful boy.
Please, and thank you. Pass it on.
Thank you.
Hi, welcome back to Oyate Today. Once again, our guest tonight is Miss Julie Jensen, President of Visit Rapid City here in Rapid City. Thanks so much for being here, ma'am.
Thanks for having me.
It's a good
been
discussion.
fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm really impressed with the work that you guys are doing, so thank you so much for sharing that. Each year in May, you have the National Tour and Travel Week, and you have a special event here in Rapid City. And I guess it's down at Main Street Square here.
That's right. We try to get the industry ready for the summer because, you know, our season usually kicks off, our busiest season kicks off Memorial Day, and now it's going all the way through October. We've had some wonderful numbers in our fall shoulder season. But yeah, Tour and Travel Rally Week is just a way to get the local people prepared for the visitor industry or for the visitors that'll be coming in, and to get them to basically be ready to be ambassadors. You know, there's nothing, when you travel, there's nothing more rewarding than when just a local person will say, can I help you with something? Can I help you with directions? Can I make a recommendation for a restaurant? And that's what we want our local people to be aware of, is the need to be nice to visitors.
Yes.
You know, we did a campaign a couple years ago where we had a little girl, Charlotte, and she said, everybody just be nice to tourists. And it was so cute because it seems simple, but people sometimes take for granted the fact that visitors are so important to our economy.
And we should treat them like guests to our home. We really should.
Exactly, because this is our home. And we want to stand out among all the other destinations that they could go to. We want to be that destination that when they go home, they tell their friends, they tell their family about what a great experience it was. That's the best marketing that we can possibly have, is when somebody's been here, they go home and they brag about it. That's better than any kind of marketing we can do.
It is, and it's so nice to have that diversity into our city and our area anyway.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
We have many international visitors coming, and they just, I mean, as a rule, we are on everybody's bucket list. When you have Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse and Custer State Park, you're on everybody's bucket list. So we just need to make sure when we get them here that they have a great time.
Definitely. So tell me a little bit about your marketing strategy then.
Well, we do a lot of digital marketing. We do some traditional, but mostly digital anymore. We have these niches that make us so we can focus on certain groups of people. The leisure market is our #1 market. Just the individual traveler, whether it's the family with the children or the senior citizens, the empty nesters, the outdoor adventure lover. So we have the leisure market that we really put a lot of time and effort into it. We have the motor coach market. We do great travel professional marketing. We have sports and events, much like we talked about with LNI and the Black Hills Powwow and all the South Dakota high school activity tournaments. So, and then even in June this next year, we are going to have so many sporting events that our sports department has been working on. And then, of course, we have meetings and conventions. And that is another very specific niche where we try to get our local people from Rapid City and the Black Hills, or even the state of South Dakota, to let us know what organizations they belong to and what conventions they're going to, and then they'll work with us to hopefully bring those back to Rapid City.
Oh, yes, definitely. And so earlier in an earlier discussion, you talked about a majority of our visitors coming from the kind of northern plains area,
Yes.
basically within a day's drive. And so why is that? How do you bring those people in and continue to bring those in? Because we do have a lot of return visitors to the area.
Oh, we sure do. Yes, our market, for the most part, we pretty much look at what the State Department of Tourism, where they spend their marketing dollars, and then we try to supplement that with some of our own marketing dollars, and we do co-op programs with them as well. So yes, Minnesota has forever been the #1 state sending visitors our way.
Oh, nice.
And then you go to Wisconsin and Illinois and Nebraska and Iowa. Those states always send a lot of visitors. Rapid City, we spend a lot of time in Colorado now, marketing to the Colorado visitor. Some people have said, why in the world would you market the Black Hills to people that have the Rocky Mountains? And I said, well, it's pretty simple, because you can play in our Black Hills, and they're accessible.
Yeah.
It's way more difficult to be able to get into the Rocky Mountains. And when you do get in there, thousands and thousands of people are fighting for space. So we feel like we're just a much better experience. And the Front Plains of Colorado, they like us a lot.
Definitely. And so our tourist season here in Rapid City in the Black Hills area is basically about 3 months, sometimes into September, into October. But what events would you like to see that would kind of extend that period and kind of elongate that tourist season for our area then? What events would you like to see coming?
Well, obviously more sporting events. That is something that we could really work on, finding those times of the year. April, for example, when we don't have a lot of leisure market coming. You know, we have talked about, and I would love to pursue this, and I think we will, having an international hand game competition.
Wow.
Because, you know, hand games, we do the corporate challenge during LNI. That's so much fun. We bring in Rapid City businesses to compete against each other.
Yes.
And so many of us have learned to play hand games. But that's a very unique competition. And so we think that we could maybe get on the circuit of hand game competitions. So that's one thing we're going to work on.
Nice.
But lots of different sporting events, you know, from wrestling to basketball to gymnastics to dance and cheer and track, I mean, soccer. We have so much potential to build those shoulder seasons up.
And so has Visit Rapid City, have they collaborated with entities or organizations from, say, Pine Ridge or Rosebud or some of the surrounding areas then?
Well, I think we do collaborate with the LNI Board of Directors to make that a bigger and better tournament, and the Black Hills Powwow. Ivan Sorbal is the Chamber of Commerce president from Pine Ridge.
Yes.
And he is also the chairman of the South Dakota State Department of Tourism Board of Directors,
That's
or
right.
Advisory Council.
Yes.
So we get to talk to Ivan quite often about, especially the international market. We really do know that that's a big interest of theirs, and our international visitors. So we work with Ivan on those kinds of things. But we could do better. We could have more offerings to share our Native American culture. We do talk about that a lot, and we'd like to have more for our visitors to see and do. Prairie Edge is a great example of you know, helping them understand this beautiful culture, and we'll just keep working in that direction.
Prairie Edge in itself is a destination. I mean,
It's
almost
like a museum.
Like a museum.
Absolutely. It's a museum where you can buy things. That's pretty cool.
Very talented artists here. Ma'am, we're going to take a break. We'll be back after a short break.
When discrimination happens in our community, and it does happen,
then it's time to stand up
and speak out to make it stop.
Discrimination hurts and excludes.
We can be better than that.
People of Black Hills have a connection to each other, and none of us deserve discrimination.
The Rapid City Human Relations Commission can help with discrimination issues in housing, employment, and public accommodations.
And each of us, when we see it or hear it,
can do our part to end discrimination.
You have a responsibility to stand up and speak out.
Hi, welcome back to Oyate Today. Once again, our guest tonight is President Julie Jensen of Visit Rapid City. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hi, yes, great to be here.
It's been an awesome discussion. So you're doing a lot of great things in our community. You're very active in several of the events that are local, Native American events, but what else are you working on that's outside of, I guess, Native American culture?
Well, we work a lot on meetings and conventions from all different industries, whether it's agriculture, because we are such a heavily agriculture state that we bid on lots of conventions that have to do with the agriculture industry. We are working very close with our airport. Patrick Dame is our airport director, and air service is so vital to a community.
Yes.
And he has just done a tremendous job of bringing more direct flights to Rapid City. We just announced that we're having, some of it's seasonal, but that's fine. That's a way to start. But we have direct flights now to LA and to San Francisco on United Airlines starting in June going through September. So and that helps our international marketing efforts because so many of those international visitors are coming, into San Francisco and into LA, and then they can have a direct shot to Rapid City. So that's been something that we really work closely on. The city of Rapid City is very generous when it comes to marketing to the visitor. We have got two forms to fill our budget. We have the BBB tax, which is bed, board, and booze, and that we get 25% of. The 75% goes to the Civic Center.
Okay.
And then we have a hotel bid tax, which is $2 per room per night of hotels with 50 rooms or more. So we have about a $2.5 million budget that we are very, very cautious of where we spend those dollars and what kind of niches that we spend, how much to put in each niche. So I think as we grow our leisure market, maybe spread that out a little bit, we will be able to bring more events that help the fall months or the spring months.
Definitely. And what would be some of the goals for the future then? Where would you like to see Visit Rapid City go in the future?
Well, obviously, we'd love more visitors.
Yes.
We'd love to fill more, because we're building more hotels in Rapid City. It's been very exciting to see the growth in the hotel industry. We have so many great public attractions, but also great private attractions. And we want to keep them healthy. We want to keep people going to Reptile Gardens in Bear Country. And so the more people we bring to town, the more growth they're going to have and they're going to see. We love promoting the Buffalo Roundup. That is a beautiful event the last part of September every year, last Friday of September. And that brings tons of people to town. Again, international visitors love that experience.
Yes.
So every time we have an event like that, we can keep growing it. That's what our goal is, just to keep those numbers growing.
And so have you considered or talked about or discussed possibly creating some type of ambassador program for, say, a leader in the Native American community that can kind of share the mission with others or share their experience with visitors or anything?
One thing we've talked about for this summer, working with Destination Rapid City, which is the downtown promotion arm of Rapid City, we've talked about an ambassador program where, as tourists are downtown, to have paid ambassadors, and we've definitely talked about having Native Americans fill some of those positions to answer questions about our city and to help them navigate their way around downtown and to make sure they don't miss seeing all of the City of Presidents and the Art Alley and some of the Journey museums. So there is definitely a need for ambassadors to help our visitors, but absolutely I think it would make a lot of sense for us to have maybe our board of directors on an annual basis bring in somebody from the Native American, if Whitney wasn't able to do it, bring in somebody to say this is what our culture likes to be known for, and this is how you can be sensitive to some of the things that we are very aware of that maybe the white people aren't. So yeah, I think an ambassador program or at least a educational program is a great idea.
Definitely, definitely. And so what are you working on for this tourist season? Are there goals that you've set for this year specifically then, or is there? Well,
I'll tell you, we always just try very, very hard to extend those seasons, to extend the season. That is one of our biggest goals. We have had some tremendous public relations recently. And so the more we can get national publications to write about us or news stations to do stories on us, that's just doing big things for our economy and for us. So we try to keep growing that exposure to journalists around the country and around the world. We've got a marketing arm that does international work for us, Rocky Mountain International, and that's 4 states that market together to the international population. We work with our our tour operators, and we just continue to work on all of the niches to see that we can bring growth to each of those niches.
And who's on your board then? Can you tell me a little bit about your board?
Well, Whitney is our chairman, and our vice chairman is Gwen Wathen, who is with KOA Campgrounds, because campgrounds, that's a big part of our industry.
Definitely.
And then Patrick Dame from the airport is our treasurer, and Debbie Cadle Spies is from Mount Rushmore Memorial Society. So we have a great executive board. That's the Visit Rapid City board. And then we have the Hotel Bid Board, which is appointed by the mayor, and that's being led this year by Logan Steffens from the Rushmore Plaza Holiday Inn.
Awesome.
And then the people on that board are all hoteliers, either owners or general managers.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show tonight.
Absolutely.
This has been a great discussion. I wish you much success with everything you're doing, and I really appreciate you supporting the Native American projects in town. So thank you so much for myself and everybody here at Oyate today. I want to thank our producers. I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank Prairie Edge for hosting our show tonight. And I want to thank you for making Oyate today a part of your night. You've been watching Oyate Today, brought to you by Native Sun News Today.
Yeah.